Happy Halloween! Welcome to the final installment of Creepypasta-Thon. I've said throughout the month that I would be saving the best for last, and I have. This one's called Dating Game, and it's my personal favorite creepypasta story. Why? Well, I'll get to that after I talk about it. It starts off with the main character, who again is nameless. He's complaining about his life not being the way he wants it to be. He's 32 years old, isn't married, has no kids, works at Burger King, and lives in a studio apartment. His biggest gripe is the marriage thing. Being single at the age of 32 is no laughing matter, especially for him. He watched all of his friends get married, have kids, and live happy lives. So you can say he feels a bit left out. I can relate to this on a lot of levels, but I'll get to that later. Something I can't help but point out is when he says that he's probably memorized at least 90% of porn stars on the internet by name. This line always makes me bust a gut. It's just so random and unexpected. I laugh my ass off every time I hear it or read it. I apologize if that offended anyone. I just couldn't resist. Well, anyway, he goes to one of those speed dating events. When he gets there, he quickly loses confidence in himself because all the other men look way more sophisticated than him. And all the women look nice as well, which is to be expected. It's a speed dating event. You want to look presentable. But the way the main character describes everything is just fucking hilarious. The speed dating begins, and the first woman the main character sits down with is 22 years old, already has 3 kids, and is 4 days sober from a methamphetamine. Yeah. Oh, and she apparently wants to settle down with a nice man that doesn't look like a walrus. You know, for a woman that's 22 years old with 3 kids and an addiction to methamphetamines, she sure is pretty judgmental. The next woman seemed offended. I don't really know what that's about or what it's supposed to mean, so moving on. The next one is way too old. You want to know how old? She has grandkids. Yeah. Seems like this guy is never gonna find a good or even decent woman, but the next one he meets is much different. And by much different, I mean much better. Much better. She was 26 years old, studying to be a nurse at a local hospital. She loves kids, but doesn't have any. She's perfect. He puts her number into his phone, but like a dumbass, he closes it before saving it, which means it's gone. Boy, this guy sure has some shitty luck. Well, the next table is empty. Needless to say, he moves on to the next one. The next woman he meets is very interesting. She's 27 years old, unemployed, very happy, and from the description he gives about how she looks, damn, she's a hottie. She apparently was once married, but her husband left her when their 2 kids died of cancer. She got so depressed about all this happening that she quit her job and moved out of town. For a girl that's gone through so much, she seems very optimistic. This is our first clue that something's not right. Well, the main character and this woman end up hitting it off real well. It doesn't take long before they start dating, and after 7 months, he proposes to her. She says yes. He moves out of his crappy apartment and into her house. Why is this important? Well, because something weird happens here too. She won't let him put anything in the basement. It may not seem weird, but think about it. They've known each other a long time and are now living together. Why would she not trust him to go in the basement? What's she got to hide? I can tell you now, but that'd be a major spoiler and I would be skipping a lot of the story. Anyway, they get married and life just gets so good. The only thing that's weird is that damn basement. She was always so weary of him going near it. They would actually fight about it sometimes. But other than that, life is good. Not only is he married, but now he's climbed a corporate ladder at Burger King and is now the regional manager of the entire state. One day he's filing some reports and the computer crashes, but luckily he saved a lot of his work on a flash drive. He calls his wife to see if she has a computer, but she doesn't answer. He then takes the daring risk of trying to open the basement, but can't because the door is locked. He notices a specific flower pot that his wife would guard with her life. Why is this the case? Well, the key to the basement is at the bottom of the pot. Well, that's what the main character discovers. He grabs it and unlocks the basement door with it. He's hit with a rotten smell and a dark, grim sight. He goes down to see moldy walls, a lot of dust, and shit like that. Basically, it looks abandoned. He finds a laptop and immediately bolts up the stairs with it. When he boots it up, he gets some notification about some video software or something like that. Long story short, he sees 4 video files titled him.avi, 1.avi, 2.avi, and y.avi. I'll break each video down one by one. Before I do, I'm just going to tell you right now, this is where things get really fucked up. This is where we learn more about the main character's wife and why she wouldn't let him go in the basement. Well, without further ado, let's get into these videos. Him.avi. A man is tied to a chair and a woman brutally cuts him into pieces and lights him on fire. He starts to vomit blood and constantly screaming, "Why?" But the woman never answers and just keeps cutting him up. One nasty part is where she apparently picks up a solid piece from his vomit with the knife and licks it clean. Ugh. Oh, and by the way, she's laughing while doing all of this. 1.avi. This one is a young boy, about 8 years old, and he's bound to the chair. He looks both confused but innocent. The same woman from the previous video comes in and kisses him on the cheek. Then she brings in a bunch of heat lamps and makes it so bright that the whole screen whites out. After a while, the camera dims so the boy can be seen again. When he is, that innocent look turns into one of extreme pain. The heat lamps slowly start burning his skin and leave nasty blisters, and it also makes his skin bubble, which is just disgusting and brutal. Much like the man in the previous video, he screams, "Why?" Each time he does, he's punished by getting hit with a belt that appeared to be studded with shards of broken glass. Eventually, he falls off the chair, and the heavy amounts of heat cause his skin to boil to the point where he's described as being roasted, like a lobster. God, that's horrible. Then the woman starts to giggle, and then she carves the words, "I am a fucking faggot," into the boy's body. 2.avi. This one has an infant in a car seat that's in the chair. The woman comes over to the child and then briefly leaves the camera. When she comes back, she has a syringe filled with a blue liquid. She violently sticks it in the infant and injects the stuff. Then the video seems to fast forward. At first, nothing seems to be wrong, but then the infant starts to cough and then pukes up some white liquid. A dark bottle was briefly placed in front of the camera with the words "Tasty Juice" written on it. In the bottle is some blue stuff that sizzles when it reaches the ground. The video then goes black. Y.avi. Before I get into this one, I feel obligated to point out that it had been modified within an hour. When the video is open, it's just a woman, looking away from the camera. She gives this disturbing monologue about how she enjoys killing and how she enjoys death, and especially if it's from her own hands. She also says that she loves to watch the footage that he just watched, and even goes as far as saying that she pleasures herself to them, which is just fucking sick. After this, she turns around to reveal herself. You ready for this? The woman in the video, the woman that did all these brutal and sickening things, was the main character's wife. She starts talking to the camera as if she's talking to the main character. What she says is very disturbing and sick. The main character starts to feel paralyzed. like he's being watched. He turns around and sees his wife. Next thing that happens is a bit misleading. Supposedly, he was tied to the same chair that was in the videos, violated with the sharp end of a screwdriver, had a block of hot ice on his lap, and was videotaped. Two Jehovah's Witnesses swing by and, do what Jehovah's Witnesses do. They hear what's going on and somehow are able to grab her and restrain her. The police have all the videos and she was given the death penalty. Before her death, she tells the main character that she'll always be watching and know where he is, and that she never leaves a job unfinished. The job being his death, of course. It takes 4 lethal injections to kill her. Now this is the only part I have a problem with. How the hell does it take 4 lethal injections to kill someone? Should it only take 1? She must be some kind of superhuman or something. The main character talks about how his life is damn good, even after this. He's made a lot of friends and makes 6 figures a year. In fact, he's so confident that he has a date. A date with a woman that has long, dark hair and bright green eyes. Which is what his wife looked like. I had said earlier that this is my favorite creepypasta story. I also said I would say why. Well, I kinda already did in the review. I said that I can relate to the main character on a lot of levels. At the beginning, he talks about how he wasn't very confident, and that he wanted to get married and have kids, and that he watched all his friends get married and whatnot. Now, in a lot of ways, that's me. Only I'm not 32. At the moment, I have no desire to get married, and I don't have kids. But someday, I do want to have kids, and I do want to be married. But the feeling left out part, I can totally relate to. Excuse me while I get off topic for a second to explain this. In high school, a lot of my friends were in relationships, but not me. I never dated in high school. There were a couple of times where I almost hooked up with a girl, but something went wrong and it ended badly. It made me feel left out, like I was missing out on something, and I also wasn't very confident. I think everyone goes through a period of being unconfident, but maybe not. I guess it just depends on the person. Yeah, looking back on it, I'm kinda happy I didn't date anyone in high school. It was hard enough with just the schoolwork, and not to mention, I played baseball, and during my senior year, I had a part-time job. So the last thing I needed was the stress from a relationship. Okay, now back to the story and why it's my favorite. Besides it being somewhat relatable, it scared the living hell out of me. The idea of marrying a psychopathic murderer is just plain disturbing. And those videos... oh god. This creepypasta has a lot of humor, a compelling story, and a very disturbing shock factor to it. Highly recommended. This concludes Cujo06241's Creepypasta-Thon. It was quite a roller coaster ride listening to all these stories, but it was damn sure worth it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. This is Cujo06241 saying, Happy Halloween.